there's going to be a little bit of a different start for this one, and this is just because of some details on how this game works. And then on top of that, there was a special request for this press key. So I want to make sure that I honor the spirit of the request. I want to make sure that I have my ducks in a row as far as the stream is concerned, and I figure it gives people a chance to come into it. So I'm not going to be starting up the game right away, and as part of the first few minutes to let people kind of get in and find a good seat, basically get the stream ready to go. I wanted to talk maybe a little bit about how, if you are interested in streaming this game, what maybe some of the challenges you might face are. Hopefully this gets I've heard a rumor that apparently this will be fixed in a new version of OBS, and it may be that version is one that you're already using. So good news there. But first things first, I need to explain why I'm streaming this in the first place, because obviously it's not a day that I normally stream. It was a pleasant surprise, but one I wanted to take the opportunity for. So GOG.com was kind enough to send along a key for Baldur's Gate 3. Now, when you do broadcasts, sometimes you'll have special notes. So for instance, you can't do a review of the game before a certain period of time or something along those lines. This one specifically says, and this, I think you'll probably understand the reason why I want to be as clear and delineate a couple things off the bat, because if I just say this, it's going to come off as really phony, and I suspect it will not be doing GOG any favors. But there was a specific request that I direct you who would like to buy the game to gog.com/games/Baldur's_gate_III, Baldur's Gate 3, and I'll put that link inside of chat there as well. So the reason why this is somewhat awkward is the fact that with some of the other games that we've streamed, particularly with Epic, and inevitably whenever I play one of their games, people will have an opinion about different storefronts and that. It's going to sound incredibly fake if I then turn around and when it becomes GOG.com, oh yeah, just get it there. Obviously my feelings of this are no different than they've ever been before. You got to buy on the storefront that you feel most comfortable with, and it's not an exclusivity thing or anything like that, although that's not what GOG is trying to present. So I'm going to be talking about GOG.com because they're the ones who gave me the key, and I think it is only right that if they gave me a key to share Baldur's Gate 3 with with all of you, I probably shouldn't be spending the time talking about other storefronts. But with that in mind, some of you who've been watching for a while also know that for a while I was an affiliate with them, and they did change the program. I was no longer an affiliate with them. And I mean, it's easy to understand why. I'm very, I'm a smaller broadcaster, and I didn't necessarily bring all that much into it. So it does make it awkward. Oh, Olaf, thank you very much for the host. It does make it awkward just in the very simple case that there's no seamless way of me saying, buy it on GOG.com wherever fine games are sold. When every other time I say this, there's usually a lot of discussion about where you can get the game elsewhere. And then for some of you, there may be some confusion as to where the, basically whether or not there's like the affiliate link is still working. I suspect if you use the affiliate link, you'll still be able to buy the game on GOG, but definitely I am not affiliated with them anymore. So I'd opted in the grand scheme of things to just be upfront about it, explain the circumstances under which I'm streaming the game, to point you towards GOG, who was kind enough to give it to me. But on top of that, I do also say one other thing about storefronts, which I think is rather relevant here, which is in the end, whatever storefront you use, it's their job to give you a reason to buy there, right? Um, Epic is going to have to make the case to you that their storefront that you can trust, that they're one that you can sort of you can buy if you feel comfortable. In some cases, it's giving away games. I know GOG does that. So, for instance, this is me sort of freelancing for them. You've got Children of Morta, which I think there's a promo going on with Visa right now. So with that in mind, GOG has actually provided, hey, Johnny Big Time. Just 1 second. Thank you, John. You're doing a much better job than I am. But yeah, one of the things that GOG has done, which is a little bit easier in this sense, is that they are able to, you can actually find on their website why they think they're the best storefront for you. So they talk about DRM free. It's about you and your games. We don't believe in controlling you the way you want to play games. This is DRM free gaming. Curated selection. Every game is handpicked, from modern games by incredible developers to great classics from your past. I think we know what game people wanna play. And then it says, made for gamers, built with gamers in mind, a platform and community for gamers, conveniently built by other gamers. Welcome home. They do have GOG Galaxy 2.0. So if you are looking for something to unify all the various storefronts, I'm going to be playing this using GOG Galaxy 2.0. They have thank you very much for the host, GOG. It's been a while since that's happened. I'm actually busy just trying to. So for those of you wondering why the game isn't up yet, I actually need to jump around with the full screen and whatnot. I don't know if that was Pyron that did that, but anyways, thank you very much, whoever threw that host. I will be getting to the gameplay before long, but I did want to do my. Sorry, I forgot to turn my Discord settings off. Hey, Pyron, great to see you. Yeah, so it's taken the minute to. I think it's Virgil who was the one to send out this key. But the Vulkan business on this is messing with me in terms of being able to stream it. So the last thing I want to do is like hit the full screen button and have the like the key that got sent out and all of that. So anyways, like I said, one of the things that they did want in the description is to push that GOG.com link. So that's where you can buy that there. I actually have, hey, Starbright Knight, thank you. You're all being very kind with your host today. I actually also have a copy of Baldur's Gate 2 inside of my GOG library as well. But the revealed preferences are that I never actually finished the Baldur's Gate series, 1 or 2. So it also seems mildly appropriate that that be the game that's or that GOG be the platform that's on it there. But with that in mind, I didn't want to kind of come off as being very very false and saying everything I talk about with different storefronts and that all of that goes away for this one here. But like I said, GOG was kind enough to be the one to give me a key for this. The only thing I didn't get a clear idea about from the Larian website is whether or not mod support is done through their launcher, or if there's like a Steam Workshop stuff and all of that. But either way, it'll sort itself out. I've played Off-World Trading Company on that as well. Oh. Please update your drivers. Try DirectX 11 if you don't. All right, so I'm filibustering, and we've actually got a bunch of people in here now. Dizzy Plays, how you doing? Great to see you too. Actually, because there's so many people in here. For those of you who want the DRM-free version of the game, you can buy it there. And I will be occasionally pushing that through. So if you are a streamer and having difficulty with this game, the default is Vulkan, and I generally like it when games use Vulkan. Hello, Chocolimit. The drawback is that the version of OBS that I'm using right now does not pick up Vulkan games. What I need to do is I need to turn on full screen mode. And you can see why, if I'm looking at like a note on streaming stuff or something that has a key for the game, why I may not want to share my full screen with you right away. So that's one of the reasons why I was sort of stumbling over all of the, all of the preamble, all of the, the details in terms of where the key came from. Again, special thank you to Pyron Jade for the host, Virgil for the key, GOG for the key in general. And without further ado, for those of you wanting to stream the game and are having trouble, either full screen mode or switching to DirectX 11 should fix it. I like keeping there are reasons I want to keep it on Vulkan, but I am going to have a slightly graceless transition and move it straight over to full screen mode, and hopefully too many things don't break. The Steam version say it needs 150 gigs and the GOG version says it's 67. That's a really good question. It might be talking about the size of the download file. Unfortunately, I'm now... actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to do one more thing. I hope this doesn't mess with the... damn it. Yeah, I can't move my mouse outside of this. I'm going to take a look at the... I'm pretty sure this game is more than 67 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure it's closer to the 150. But let me see if I can find the answer. Uh-oh. So yes, I did play a little of this to make sure. This is why I knew that all the Vulkan stuff was running through and whatnot. All right, so let me just take a quick minute here and see. I know I'm already stepping all over that lovely host by not getting on with it, but okay. So I'm going to turn off my full screen really quick because I would love to be able to figure out what's going on with these differences, games. Where did Baldur's Gate go? Here we go. 82.5 gigabytes. So I don't know where the 150 gigabytes comes from. It's huge. It might be that there are, if there are things other than in the main directory. But I don't know. I want to direct you to the GOG link because it's the place to buy it, not because it's the smaller game. Let me just see. System requirements. Yeah, I don't know. 150 seems to be overstating what the actual requirement is. Anyways, you all want to see the gameplay, right? There we go. There's a really interesting conversation that I heard. It was actually from a GOG streamer, and they were saying how they were kind of hoping that Baldur's Gate 3 would be more like the old games and not like Divinity. And for me, I had sort of the opposite feeling, which was I was really hoping that Larian would take a lot of the things that they took from Divinity and and bring it to Baldur's Gate. So I think one of the things that's helpful to think about, like I'm not entirely sure that what the original Baldur's Gate game gave us was the idea of, the isometric RPG. I mean, there's Fallout, there's plenty of other stuff like that beforehand, but I think one of the big selling features, like when I went back and tried to find old PC Gamer articles about Baldur's Gate and all of that, Canadian company that made it, by the way, it was kind of the fact that they really wanted to push hard on the idea of the tabletop game, that I think there was like a new set of D&D rules that were coming out at the time. Although maybe they went with the older version of the rules. I don't know, there was some discussion about that. But basically, it was the idea that it was D&D the game, and that they were going to stay really true to all of the different mechanics of the D&D game, while still kind of telling the sort of story that that you might be used to here on the tabletop. Dizzy says they were the first to do very accurate D&D mechanics in a computer. Yeah, so we're on the same page there. And from what I understand, Baldur's Gate 3 is based on the 5th edition D&D rules. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of tabletop gaming experience because I'm a big old loner. But I thought it was sort of interesting to see that because, of course, one of the things that's changed from, Baldur's Gate to now is that when people talk about Larian and the Divinity games, particularly Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2, is sort of how it's like playing a tabletop RPG. That it feels like there's a lot of variety, that you can do lots of combinations, and just generally that you're able to kind of capture some of that magic that's on the tabletop. And so to me, I was very excited to see this company take up Baldur's Gate. And, much like D&D has sort of changed over time, and much like gaming has changed over time, I'm really interested in seeing kind of what a modern version of that idea of capturing D&D on the computer looks like. And that's kind of where I'm coming into the experience. Disney Plays says, which is why you think BG1 kind of sucks and BG2 is much better, because for BG2 they were more comfortable making an actual video game. Okay. Yeah, so this is, like I said, revealed preferences is a really big thing for me, which is it's hard not to find someone who it's hard to find someone who doesn't have an opinion about Baldur's Gate, and it's usually favorable. But the big thing for me is that I never actually played the games to the end. In the case of Baldur's Gate, I'm going to shut up and let the cinematic do the talking for a bit. There's another detail I should mention. This is what happens if you pay for $99 laser eye surgery, Johnny. All right, so the thing I should have mentioned before too. This is still in development, so I believe it's the first act that has been released. Some of this stuff is not polished yet. To me, I actually kind of love how hilarious some of the problems are. So like the physics of some of the tentacles leads for some very funny moments with the it leads to some very funny moments, in my opinion, when you have sort of the big bad, and it sort of feel, I don't know, it'd be like if Cthulhu kind of comes out of the ocean, but you know, for some reason the tentacles all are like standing vertically, so it looks like he's got spiky hair or something like that. It diminishes from the gravity of the moment in some cases. So do keep that in mind. There seemed to be, when I was taking a look at the reviews for this, it does look like the game has unexpectedly low reviews on GOG because I think there's a number of people who are rather upset that it's a full price for an early access game. This is obviously, you know, this is why I don't like user reviews, because a really interesting and I think very worthwhile game potentially gets hit when people's expectations don't necessarily line up. There's no rule that says that an early access game has to be at a discount. But with that in mind, like, it's Larian are pretty much up front saying this thing's kind of rough around the edges. So you're doing this because you can't wait to play another Baldur's Gate game and to see how Larian's put their mark on the series. If you're looking for the polished experience, please do wait. Please do wait and buy it on GOG. We already decided to be a dwarf all the way through. Tell you what, Johnny, you can buy the game yourself and play a dwarf. So one of the reasons I wanted to mention that, not everything's implemented. So we're going to do a custom origin. I'm going to be a boy. And I could just start with the name Tav. I kind of have a few ideas about who this guy might be. Why doesn't this game cost me as much as 20-year-old Baldur's Gate 1? Yeah, exactly. You know, this, I have, you know, so look, if every game is going to be a certain degree of risk. You know, it's never clear whether or not you're necessarily going to enjoy a particular game or not. But I actually kind of like seeing stuff in development. Like, this is, to me, the thing that's most exciting about getting to do Baldur's Gate 3 early is I always wonder what like a masterpiece like Divinity Original Sin 2 looks like before it was that masterpiece, because every game is going to have this valley of despair where things are hopeless and nothing's working. Baldur's Gate 3 is not in that state, but I want to know what it looks like, you know, before the thing is like a perfectly polished gem. I kind of want to know what some of these things look like in development. So at least you're not aware of anyone holding a... No, they do that for Cyberpunk 2077, obviously. Anyways, I don't know. I've got Act 1 to get through. So, anyways, I have a couple of ideas about who this person is. There's that image of the sort of the demon, the temptress, and the sorcerer. So I think I'm gonna do that. So select a background. We could be an acolyte, a charlatan. I do want to do one where I try a charlatan at some point. A criminal, an entertainer, a folk hero, a guild artisan, a noble, a hermit, an outlander, a sage, a sailor, a soldier, an urchin, and then we're back to acolytes. So I actually think I want to be a sailor. So someone who's traveled the world. So hey, super regular brothers. Yeah, and I talk a lot over games, so this is going to be a very in-depth start. And again, so for some of you who we're just coming off of Mass Effect yesterday, I'm doing a special cast for this because I wasn't expecting to be playing Baldur's Gate 3 so early. I have a thank you to GOG for that. But basically I wanted to like. In Mass Effect 3, I don't have a full backstory for my Commander Shepard written, but I do have, when I play RPGs like this, I kind of have an idea of what this person is about. And again, because the loading images are very evocative, I thought, okay, well, let's try and come up with a story for this. So this is someone who's traveled the world, perhaps someone searching for adventure. I'm going to be a human. So your options are elf, tiefling, drow, human, Githyanki, dwarf, half-elf, halfling. The most common race to see in Faerun, humans are known for their tenacity, creativity, and endless capacity for growth. All right, let's pick a voice.
Hells. Something just woke up down here.
I hope they have at least one of the, time for a bit of the rough and tumble.
A tidy slot, but no room. The stone's less worn here. Recently uncovered.
Hells. Something just woke up down here.
A tidy slot, but no rune.
I'll pick. I think I'll pick the default one there. All right. I'm actually. So I spend a lot of time on faces at the start. What I want to start with though is the beard. We're gonna work our way backward because if I pick a lot of facial hair, I'm going to. I'm never gonna get out of it. This is pretty great. I definitely want the sort of sailor, like borderline pirate, the sort of person you might see in a you know, a Hollywood thing. It's not going to be Errol Flynn, but it's going to be. That's a hair that's sailed the seven seas. Yeah, like, so normally when I do soldiers, I tend to go for, like, bald or the sort of people who are not going to have their hair grabbed. But for some reason, whenever I go for sailors, I just go something nuts. All right. So, yeah, I guess at this point, do I give him the, you know, the party on top and... I kind of feel like I need to... It doesn't necessarily... Okay, that's actually really funny. I don't really know if this beard works. Nah, you know what? Screw it. I'm going with it. I could try lighter. Let's give him darker skin. The cool tone. Perfect. All right. I'm getting we're going somewhere with this. I want him to have slightly paler. I'm not going to go full like gray eyes. Definitely want him to have slightly paler eyes. It to be a very I want it to be a very distinctive look. And I actually think this face... So this is one of the reasons why I did the face last, is because it completely changes as soon as you put the face in. I actually think this works pretty well. Yeah, a lot of these are very... I could see them as captains. I don't see this guy as a captain. I see this guy as like someone who you might see... you know, introducing themselves in a Herman Melville book. All right. I'm liking this. We could do tattoos. I mean, some gnarly facial tattoo is kind of what you might expect for a guy like this. I think we're going to say tattoo-less, at least as far as the face. But, yeah, we gotta accentuate the lighter eyes. I wonder if I can get away with... So this is... what I'm trying to do here is Edward Teach sort of lighting the fuses under his hair, also known as Blackbeard. You know, lighting the fuses and just generally creating a sense of intimidation. Without necessarily having to actually do the fight. So the idea that this guy sort of knows he has unusually pale eyes, and so being able to create sort of an impression of fire behind there, I like this idea. Although I did kind of, there is a side of me that just wants to say, you know, dark is enough. But no, let's it's a fantasy game. We gotta go for it. So, all right. So we were saying the inspiration was the image of sort of the sorcerer. So this is going to be a bit of a different take on the sailor. So, as an adventurer traveling the seven seas, or I don't actually know how many seas there are in the Forgotten Realms, but there's the so I'm just trying to think. So basically, the idea that I've got in the so I'm trying to figure out basically. So when we had the art of the the succubus that somebody was mentioning inside of it, I kind of have imagined that this is someone who was looking for adventure, and maybe on shore leave or something like that, he ran into something that offered great power, which is why I kind of wanted to go with warlock. So bound by a pact to an all-powerful patron, warlocks trade their loyalty for supernatural abilities and unique magic. So we've got two subclasses. There's the Fiend. Warlocks in service to fiends work towards corrupting destructive ends, intentionally or otherwise, and receive hellish blessings in turn. Or the Great Old One. Warlocks bound to eldritch beings in the far realms work towards inscrutable goals, gaining strange powers over entropy of the mind. Thank you, Olaf. This is definitely... I tend to play, like, superheroes. But let's see what we're going... I also haven't done any magic in here yet, so I really wanted to do some kind of a spellcaster. So we've got Eldritch Blast, conjure a beam of crackling energy that deals 1d10 force. Blade Ward, gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from weapon attacks. Our other options would be Chill Touch, Friends, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Poison Spray. You know what? If this person's in league with the dark powers, let's give him all offensive. You've been spent 15 odd years in Faerun. All right, and then we've got Armor of Agathis. Okay, this might be interesting. Arms of Hatter call forth tendrils of dark energy. Targets take 1d6 necrotic and can't take reactions. I could also do Burning Hands, Command, Expeditious Retreat, Hellish Rebuke. This is a fun one, actually. Next time you take damage, you use your reaction to surround your attacker in hellish flames that deal 2d10 fire. It's a hard one. I think I'm gonna... I really do want to do something like Witch Bolt. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. This is not quite what I had in mind, but it sounds interesting. Okay. Skills. You receive a bonus to every skill that you are proficient in. This bonus increases as you gain levels in your class and applies to all checks for that skill. So we start off with Arcana. Arcana is knowledge of magic and its applications, useful for interacting with enchanted items or powerful spells, and Intimidation. Intimidation is the use of threats and speech, forcing others to break under your will. I actually kind of like that idea with the look that we chose. If we want to change any of them, it would be Deception, History, Investigation, Nature, or Religion, but I think I'm okay with that default option. And I don't want to spend too much time running around. I'll admit, I actually don't 100% know... I always thought it would be intelligence for spells, but it might be different for warlocks. Oh, here we go. Bards, paladins, sorcerers, and warlocks use charisma as their spellcasting ability, the likelihood that spells will land. So the only thing I would say is I'd maybe want to boost his strength a little bit. So let's say down a point in those two. Which makes him a little more generic, but I'm okay with that. And I think with that in mind, we'll keep the name Tav, but I believe we are ready to go. And please appreciate the wiggle physics of the beard. Here we go.
Tell me, who do you dream of at night?
What do you dream of? Who attracts you? Oh, okay, well, now we get to spend some time taking a look at all the other races. We've got Drow, Tiefling, a human, Thanky, Dwarf. There you go, Johnny. Elf, half-elf, or halfling? I actually kind of like the idea of the tiefling. So, bound to Nessus, the deepest layer of the hells, these tieflings inherit the ability to wield fire and darkness from the archdevil Asmodeus' infernal bloodline. Mephistopheles, descended from the archdevil Mephistopheles, these tieflings are gifted with a particular affinity for arcane magic. Tieflings of Zariel's bloodline are empowered with martial strength and can channel searing flame to punish their enemies. Yeah, so let's say the promise of great...
The stone's less worn here.
Hells.
A tidy slot, but no rune.
Okay. Will it affect our hairstyle if we change the horns? I guess we'll find out. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot to say on. I had a couple of ideas about who the character was, but I didn't think to imagine who my romance options are. I don't know. I like the idea of the higher rising. Oh, sure. Kind of faces are we looking at? Okay. I think I'll just stick with whatever eye color it gave me as a default. Which actually looks a little too nice. I think if I add a tattoo to this one, there we go. I think that works. I hope you guys think that's an acceptable dream of who attracts you. Music's really good. So the Mind Flayer saw us completely transform over 20 minutes while he was putting the parasite in. I don't know the city Archmage throne. I actually know comparatively little about the D&D setting. I'm sure somebody in chat can help you though. Captain, there's a logo right ahead. All right, I know that was the that was like the teaser for the game, but I still think that's an exciting. I think that's still an exciting start.
My head.
How's the game volume? It looks like it's a little quiet on my end, but I don't know if that's a consensus view. All right, escape the Nautiloid. Find a way off the Nautiloid. We've been abducted by mind flayers and infected with some kind of parasite. We need to find a way off this ship. So one of the things, again, I put a couple minutes just kind of tooling around this room. Could be a little louder? Okay. So yeah, I spent a couple minutes tooling around this room, just seeing it. It definitely feels very... very Divinity. So if you've played that, you'll feel right at home. Again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think Divinity's a really good game. So being able to see a new story in something a little bit more modern is an exciting prospect for me. Click on the ground or hold the left mouse button to begin exploring, and then basic camera controls, WASD to move the camera. I was using the middle mouse button to do the rotations. And then I think if you double click your character port, so like the one thing that sometimes weirds me out on this, because again, like if you remember the original Baldur's Gate, you had these really wonderful sort of drawings of your environment. You weren't necessarily stuck to your character, but it's sometimes helpful to have the camera follow. So I know if I hit the home button, I also think if you double click on the character portrait, you get locked back.
I'd still be stuck inside if we hadn't been attacked.
One other thing, I don't know if this is done in other games or not, but I really liked the inclusion of jump. There's just something really neat, and again, I don't mean to draw too many comparisons to the original Baldur's Gate games because ultimately I'm not that familiar with them, there's something just really neat about sort of feeling like you're in a 3D space and you're not like tied. Okay, so yes, you're tied to the collisions that the developers have put you into, but just sort of the fact that there's the inclusion of a jump sort of gives you this, for me at least, kind of this illusion that there's a lot more freedom in this game than there would be in some of the other ones. I mean, part of that's probably the 3D thing, but I don't know. It was just a little touch that I was struck by. Flesh-like lid of this rubbery container seems to quiver when touched. And it has Alchemist Fire, deal 1d4 damage per turn to any creature it hits. Shapes swirl and glow behind the glass, liquid embers folding into and around each other. And Grease Bottle creates a flammable grease surface that is difficult terrain and causes characters to fall prone. If you're not familiar with some of the previous games by Larian, this is one of the things that really caught my attention when I first played their game Divinity Original Sin, which is you could sort of set up these combinations. If you've played the game Magicka, you have this, you have these like spell combinations. So if you take, let's say, like water and electricity, it winds up stunning someone, and there's a lot of different interactions that you can get. Obviously, this is the sort of stuff which it's why you have a DM inside of a tabletop role-playing game. It's so that you can have someone to sort of be the person who's trying to put some order on all of the crazy stuff that you're doing, while still giving you the freedom to come up with sort of novel solutions to your to the problem that you find yourself in. So it was kind of neat, like to have these moments of like, oh hey, well what if I put grease on the ground, and then when they come and chase me, I come running through, and then you shoot your fire arrow and set the bad guys on fire. That's something that's a lot more natural to do in a game like this. And again, it's just a little touch that to me, it's why I like modern games. No, the game. I like how this game is a lot more upfront about its romance options. So, I had my character. You might have stopped by when it was asking me, "Who do you want to bone?" And it shows. So it's kind of neat, just because it seems to be asking sort of a preference for my character, and so I took some time in creating a look. I don't think I can do that in a way that'll make you happy. Oh, maybe not. Okay, I'll put that to 100. That was a really crude way of putting it, by the way. I don't actually know if that's how this game does romance options. It could be that there is a figure who shows up and and winds up being really central to the plot in that, but I kind of took that as, it's like, what are your romance options? There's lots of different possibilities here. So
Devilkin, am I in the hells?
Scroll the final hurl a mote of fire that deals 1d6 fire damage and creates a flammable surface. The scroll is destroyed upon use. Wizards can also use it to learn this spell. Well, I should have played a wizard. The thing is, when I played the first Baldur's Gate, the reason why I couldn't get very far in it was I kept playing a mage, and I'd die in the first assassin that was sent to kill me. Lithid manuscript.
Faint images appear in your mind. A brain, a Githyanki warrior, and centuries of darkness. 1,000 years of humanoid history. Elves, dwarves, humans, and more flash behind your eyes.
It says use to jump to reach. I suspect that's just doing a quick detection to see whether or not there's like an immediate path, because I definitely didn't need to jump there.
We are here.
doesn't do anything.
We are trapped. Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place you'll free us. Please. Before they return.
That's
They
neat.
return.
So looks like it's it kind of looks like this is kind of the equivalent of, so you know how like you'll have a DM say to you, you know, oh, do a perception check, and you know you failed, and then immediately you're on edge. I kind of like the fact that the behind the scenes rolls are happening, and it's telling you about those. So, also talking brain, given my wiggly beard, you are only the second most terrifying thing I've seen today. Who am I talking to? A man or a brain?
A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You realize you're talking to an intellect devourer, a minion of the mind flayers who abducted you.
You sound afraid. Why?
The enemy. So many enemies.
I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Oh, that thing I reduced? That's a brain, all right.
Apart from this strange context, you notice nothing unusual about the brain.
All right. Select your crowbar, and then select the brain. We will gently prise the brain from the skull.
The brain lifts from the skull, but you notice an opportunity. You could cripple the strange creature, making it more subservient should it prove a threat.
I mean, I was happy enough to pull it out of the skull. We'll spare it.
We are free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
The creature pauses, listening. Something behind your eyes seizes in recognition.
We must go to the helm. At the helm, we are needed.
What's at the helm?
The brain tenses, as though querying an unseen advisor.
Do you not hear it? We will not survive here. We are needed to navigate. We are needed to leave this realm.
What should I call you?
Us. We are us.
All right, let's go.
To the helm we go. We are going to the helm.
I always associated these kinds of settings with like high fantasy and just generally really pleasant stuff, but so far we've had, you know, terrifying parasites jump into our eyes. We pulled a brain out of someone's skull. I don't mind this stuff. Like, it's just very different from what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting Peter Jackson Presents. Oh, that's neat. Oh, I've been missing some tutorials. Hold Alt, left Alt to highlight objects you can interact with. I think I did that before. Dice. This game uses dice to determine outcomes. The dice are referred to as D plus a number indicating the number of sides of the dice. For example, D6 indicates a standard 6-sided die. Other dice used are D4, D8, D10, D12, and D20. Why no D3? Use jump to reach higher places and jump over obstacles. If we fail the check, this is a short adventure. See ya, okay, never mind. Yeah, look at that. I realize we're under attack, but that's appropriately dramatic cue for a really nice little bit of scenery.
Abomination. This is your end.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
Oh, my head. What is this? Skvar, you are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive. Imps block the path forward. You will assist me in destroying them. We must reach the helm before we transform.
It really is a beautiful game, Archmage Dawn. I actually, one thing that I was a little weirded out by when I first loaded it in, it seemed like the level was sort of loading chunk by chunk, so all the textures were very, like they looked like something out of Half-Life. Which is like, Half-Life's fine, but it's an older game. So I was like, oh wow, this is like really early access. But then like after a couple of minutes, all of a sudden everything is like rendered kind of as you see it here. And I'm like, oh, actually this looks really good. So it looks like they did put, they put a level of polish on it. Although as you can, there'll definitely be some moments where it looks a little, a little underdone, but Larian was pretty upfront about that going in. Anyways, transform. Whatever do you mean?
We carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
We're tuning into mind flayers? There must be something we can do.
We can do nothing until we escape. That must be our priority.
Who are you?
Who am I? Your only chance of survival. And you mine, though it pains me to say it.
Is the helm our way out of here?
It is where we might gain control of the Ga'arth, the ship. Once in command, we will deal with our Geich captors.
Onward then.
First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. As for that thing, it will remain tame as long as it believes we are thralls. It may be of use in the fight to come.
Nope. Combat turns. Combat happens in turns. Each turn you can do one action and one bonus action. You can also move. Turn order, roll of the dice determines the turn order. This is called initiative and is influenced by your dexterity. Your available actions are highlighted. Bonus actions are actions you can perform on top of your normal actions. The movement bar shows how much distance you can cover during your turn. Okay, it feels like this is a little different from how Divinity does it, but this is kind of neat. All right, let's start with regular movement. I don't know if I'm gonna guess. Oh no, I can. All right, looks like this guy's only got his claws, so. I guess this is the This is a version of the double move. Actually, with that in mind, so I'll get my two main characters to take this guy up front, and seeing as I'm already using a dash on us, and given that he is a tool for the oppressors, let's run him up. That will haunt my dreams forever. Melee and ranged weapons. Use a melee weapon for enemies near you and a ranged weapon for enemies further... Thanks! Pin down, make a ranged weapon attack to deal 1d6 plus 1 piercing and reduce the target's movement speed by 3 meters. Oh, interesting. Once per short rest. Well, this guy's melee focused. I wonder if... Let's try and make life difficult for our crossbow fellow. We'll leave that be. Also, I don't remember any difficulty settings, so I either missed them or I just wasn't observant. I say this now in case I die in the tutorial fight. So I feel like this is an area of effect. No. Well, it is, just not an area of effect in the way I thought it was. So we tried the Eldritch Blast. Let's see what the Witch Bolt does. This is all about learning right now. Alright, that was incredible. I don't know what the other thing it said was, but I thought that looked incredibly cool, and I want to do that forever. So it looks... Okay, yeah, so this is doing the same claw attack. I'm disappointed in us. I'm not well, you might say I'm disappointed in us, but us disappointed me. Alright, well these guys are engaged. I don't think... I suspect it's an attack of opportunity if this guy tries a ranged attack on one of my characters over here. Unfortunately, we're low ground, but there's not much we can do about that, so let's just open fire. And we'll stay put. Not enough spell slots. Oh! I thought these were like the numbers that I... Sorry, I thought... Looks like these are hotkey numbers as opposed to... the number of times I get to use them. So I'm just going to take a quick minute to... I'm interested in... The game's been pretty good at doling out the tutorials so far, but I don't think it told me how magic works. Hey, Kilgore, how you doing? For those of you who don't know... Actually, I guess Dizzy plays... You are also a streamer, right? The thing is, I always see you in chat so much more than... on stream, but I should actually be getting... Sorry, guys, I'm trying to... I'm dealing with the fact that I have to be on full screen on this and all of the madness that happens around the Vulcan on this. So I've actually been doing a rather poor job of shouting everyone out. So someone with my username keeps trolling me. Yeah, well, I think Danlock was in here a little bit earlier, and he always treats me like I'm an idiot. So I thought this is the one chance where he'd see what I'm like in a normal. But I think he just came in and was like hit next because he wasn't interested. And I blew my chance. So I'll forever be unimpressive to him. Actually, this is also a good chance for me to... So, sorry, guys. I know some of you have been watching from the beginning and you want to see more than just the tutorial, but this is my first time playing this, so I do need to get the experience through. This is a key that was given from GOG, so thank you for that. If you're interested in buying the game on GOG, that is the link there. But we got a wonderful host from Pyron Jade, who is a streamer in her own right, although I haven't seen her online lately. I think probably life has jumped in the way of that. I believe she still runs the GOG.com stream team. Kilgore Trout is a member of that stream team, and I believe Dizzy plays. Again, this is the challenge. I don't know if Dizzy is a regular on the GOG channel or just one that comes out. Okay, good. Yeah. As you can see, it's been a while since I've sort of been in the know. Now, Kilgore, actually, I remember you were saying that you were hoping that this game would be a lot more like the original, and not like Divinity. And I was actually of the opposite view, which is I really wanted to see what a modern take on how do we imagine D&D rules in, in computer games. So basically, if Baldur's Gate 1 were to have been made today, what would it look like? And I thought the premise of sort of taking the Divinity approach and then fusing that with Baldur's Gate, to me, I thought was a really exciting choice. But I guess now that we've seen this thing, what are your impressions on it? Sorry to put you on the spot that way, but he's a regular. Okay, good. So yes, my apologies to those of you. Actually, I expect Dizzy's probably gone, but I trust you'll put in a good word for me. But I appreciate the support from the regulars on that channel coming in. Okay, spellcasters can only use prepared spells. Change which spells you have prepared anytime outside of combat. So I guess it doesn't say what the deal is with the spell position thing. You haven't really seen enough? All right, well, I guess I will stop. I'll stop faffing about with the tutorial menus, and we'll kill some people. Thank you very much.
You proved surprisingly adequate in battle. Now, to the helm.
Well, it's because that guy's named after a Bioshock clone. Oops, I don't want the brain stealing my loot. Speaking of, I don't know what melee weapon my main guy's wielding. So he's currently using a dagger, a rogue's favorite toy. I suppose my question would be, why wouldn't I go for the longsword instead? Because I don't have a proficiency in it. So where were my proficiencies? It's not going to be charisma. I don't want to spend too much time searching for this sort of stuff, but it's helpful for me to just get an idea about where... So, like, obviously, if I compare this to something like Tyranny, let's say, which is sort of another example of sort of a modern take on sort of the old Infinity Engine games, that's one where you sort of pick weapons from the very beginning, whereas this one, it looks like there was something that determined... Oh, here we go. Warlock, simple weapon proficiency. Add your proficiency bonus to attack rolls with simple weapons. So... And interestingly enough, it doesn't actually say simple. But it does inform me that I don't get a bonus for it, so... but you don't think there's any doubt that this would be anything but a good game. It's just a question of how they're... Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted your opinion on it. Because, like, there's never going to be... Like, any forum you go to, there's always going to be somebody who turns around and it's like... I was not expecting that. Nautiloid tank. The dark oily liquid inside this tank pulsates slowly, keeping time with your own breath. You know what? I think I'm good. I don't think I need to put that in my pocket. But yeah, so there's going to be no shortage of, you know, careless thoughts about the game, and, you know, say, like, there's just something about internet rhetoric where people, you know, it either has to be the best ever or it sucks. And clearly, you know, clearly that's not true. There's lots of range. But I mean, given the fact that I suspect we probably come from two different perspectives on what our expectations for a game like this is. I was talking with Johnny Big Time before. It was like when Baldur's Gate 3 was announced, but before I'd played this. And I sort of talked about the revealed preferences of the fact that the fact that, you know, as much as I say nice things about Baldur's Gate, I never actually really got that far in it. Here's a good question. If you change the name of this game to Divinity 3 or whatever, would you say, wait a minute, this feels like a Baldur's Gate game? Well, this is a tricky one for me to answer, because when I played Divinity, I thought, oh, hey, this is a neat modern version of Baldur's Gate. So I think there's probably a bit of a chicken and egg question.
Lend a hand, won't you, love? There's a rat in the kitchen. 10 red rats. And they're flying and they're clawing.
The Mind Flayers have already enthralled him. Leave him, or we will share his fate.
I'm loving the environments here. Short rest before you... Okay, so... That's helpful to sort of know that the cooldowns persist. I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on with this. So draw on your stamina to protect yourself once per day. You can regain 1d10 hit points. Now, the thing is, I haven't actually taken any damage, so I don't see why I'd want to use that right now. Let's take a piece off the board for starters. Or not. So I'm going to guess a lot of those spells that I had are not going to be too helpful. Oh, you know what? I think I skipped Us's turn. I wasn't thinking of that. Well, I guess I get to... No, I am not going to poison my teammate. Let's slash. Clearly, he wanted to gain Warlock powers because he's not very good at melee combat. Ooh, sorry. I thought it was Q and E to rotate the camera. That is not true. So... I figure Us is probably already going to be involved in the fight. She really wants to... take on that guy. Alright. I guess I could also try and rush him, but that's going to cause me to run through the fire, so we'll... I mean, if I can get up in his face, it's... At this point, I really just want to cause as many cool effects as possible. Am I going to walk into fire, or will the... Okay, the game does have some sense of self-preservation.
I'm a bit peaked, Mum.
think I'll go to bed early.
So I always wondered if the so every once in a while Lae'zel doesn't move her lips, and I always wondered if it's the fact that we do seem to like, so the game's pretty explicit that there seems to be some sort of shared understanding or shared consciousness. But with a sharpened gemstone in its center, this ring is capable of cutting the very flesh that it decorates. So I wondered if it was just sort of the psychic powers at work, or if it's just that the animation wasn't implemented yet. And I suppose with that guy too, if he's a thrall, we still don't have an answer to that. But I'm thinking it's because... All right. Have at you. You know what? You're going to need to spend some time practicing, my friend. I guess we technically didn't get an answer with that because it was a thrall, but I'm going to guess that this is probably more on the side of they haven't put all the lip movements in yet.
Istik, back! Touch nothing without knowing its purpose.
Another mystery. Can't read the script. Annihilate.
Okay. Nope. There's a milady in distress.
You! Get me out of this damn thing! We have no time for stragglers.
There's magic at work here, but what kind?
Warding runes. The pod won't open unless they're destroyed.
Try to disrupt the bright lines of magic with a touch.
Are you satisfied? We need to go.
Leave the one. The one must be left.
The pod's stuck fast. I can't free you.
Wait! That can't be. There has to be another way. Please! It cannot be helped. Come.
Safe if she stays. Safe if we go.
The man isn't dead, but he's totally unresponsive.
So here's the thing I'm interested in. So he kind of failed to... So he's got Annihilate, and we've got a pair of sigils. I am curious what happens if I take another party member and... Okay, so it looks like it's either shared or it's not going to let me take a crack at it multiple times. She did say not to touch anything. But it wouldn't be an adventure game if I didn't try it. Oop, an elaborate reliquary. Bright and polished, the necklace was clearly cherished by its... Oh, hang on. I wonder if I... Oh no, hang on, there's more stuff here. Okay, scroll of inflict wounds. Use your hands with putrefying energy that deals 3d10 necrotic damage. Okay, we got a couple of those. Made of precious stone and covered in gold, this chest is both sturdy and pleasing to the eye.
Needs a key.
Okay, we don't have the ability to lockpick.
Odd.
I do want to mess around with that table, but I'm going to explore a little bit first to see if I can figure out what's going on. Just because she told me not to touch anything doesn't mean I'm going to listen to her. God.
How many hosts of these gay infected?
I really like the look of these environments.
Could mean anything. Could mean anything.
An elaborate key, a beautifully wrought golden key plucked from a bloody corpse. Gold, you can find a dozen different currencies in Faerun, but everyone accepts gold, and candle, a half-burned beeswax candle. Takes additional fire damage for the duration.
Might fit that chest.
All right, let's see what this button does.
Changed at the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
My bad. I feel like I owe that woman an apology. Maybe I won't go messing with that tape. Well, hang on, because one of the buttons said annihilate.
The mind flayer stares at you, weak and dazed.
So we've got annihilate, unknown, and unknown.
She made them hostile.
Oh, okay, well. Oh, okay, I'm not close enough. Hopefully it'll give him something to think about. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of using that ability. Oh, the other thing I should be checking is to see if I have a finite number, of arrows in this. Doesn't look like it. Alright, that is 2 crits that guy's gotten. So Us is apparently the MVP of the team. Do I even want to try the other? Okay, you know what? Pushing random buttons has gotten us nothing but misery. Sorry, I probably should say, when I was tooling around in the first room, when I first played this, I learned that those things heal you. Mind you, if I just bothered to read what it said on mouse over, it says restoration, so... but that was technically me...
We are nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
It's technically me using knowledge that I didn't have.
Brains.
Yeah, if there's one lesson I have learned in the Mind Flayer ship is don't touch random stuff anymore. I'll loot. I have an insatiable lust for trinkets, but maybe I'll avoid hitting any buttons.
Connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now!
I really do like it when the tentacles go a little...
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Between my wiggly beard and the...
Connect the nerves. Nerves. We will connect them.
And the occasional tentacle freak out. There is more than a little unintentional humor. I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did with Us before, so let's use the dash, and I don't know, I suspect I don't get like an attack of opportunity if I dash right into the middle of someone. but I figure at the very least I can give them... Like, I've kind of established that us is disposable, so at the very least I'll just give them something to think about. Yeah, it's working as intended.
We need to get out of here now.
All right, now, if I want to connect the nerves, which it's very kindly directing me to over here, there's kind of an argument for a dash, but there do seem to be a few gentlemen here, so... Okay, I'm just going to take a minute here. Oh, here we go. So spell slot, replenishable resource. Casting spells requires available spell slots, and the recharge is to take a short rest. So I wonder if the restore was the thing that that caused that. And this makes a lot more sense here. So basically, the Witch Bolt is going to use up that spell slot, or I could do Arms of Hatter, call forth tendrils of dark energy, 2d6 necrotic. Okay, well, given that the Eldritch Blast has sort of been enough so far, let's stick with the classics. I am never going to get tired of that. Also, it is very weird for me to be cheering on the Mind Flayer in this context. I'll admit, I'm actually having a little trouble trying to figure out whether or not, how different this is from Divinity. And I'm sorry to make the comparison all the time. It just happens to be. It's the most immediate connection that I make in terms of the feel of the game that I'm playing. So one of the things that I kind of liked about Divinity was it gave you the sort of freedom of movement, right? So you've got the, meters to the first decimal point to move around. You've got a certain degree of freedom for that. In the case of Divinity, it gave you action points, and it would sort of show you what these movements would cost in terms of action points. And then, you just make sure that you had enough for an ability. This one, to a certain extent, feels a little more like XCOM in the sense... I mean, XCOM, you kind of have two actions, and if you want to dedicate everything to a move, you can. Whereas here, obviously, you've got the bonus actions that they have and whatnot. And again, I'm sure this is probably a lot more about D&D rules rather than any of the video games that I'm referring to. But I'm obviously talking about my own frames of reference here. So the one thing that I've been trying to sort of figure out is this kind of what Divinity's doing in the background and I just never realized it? Is this something new, or is this something that's basically just transposing the 5th edition? I'm going to assume that this probably has a lot to do with 5th edition, and just because I haven't really played it, I'm less familiar. But I'll admit it's working for me. Beyond maybe the confusion about the spell slot, I like that there is a degree of simplicity in terms of my interaction. So I'm fairly clear in terms of, where I'm moving, why I'm moving into a particular location. It didn't require a whole lot of investigation to sort of figure out, how to use my bow to shoot someone in the back, for instance. But I still feel like all of these little elements that lead me to make those interesting combinations that I was talking about in Divinity are still there.
If this ship hits the ground, we're dead.
Okay. I think I'm actually gonna try and get away with a dash here. Try and give the demon a wide berth.
It's clear. Hurry before they strike.
More friends. Okay, I now probably regret dashing, but that's fine. The only thing I would change would be to give him a dagger between his teeth. And I can't really do anything where I am, so I am gonna... I'm gonna dash with my... Actually, here. I suppose this will answer the question as to whether or not I get a... sort of a reaction hit. Yeah, but that guy's gonna get one too, so... Oh, well... Fortunately, that wasn't a costly mistake. Take the standard movement. I suspect, yeah, my ranged attack's just shy of what it needs to be. So I suppose we'll dash like everyone else. Actually, come to think of it, it did sort of show me a light blue section on the movement bar, so that was on me for not looking at it. Okay, let's work away at our companion. I think I still want to be progressing forward to the objective, so, but this guy's obviously in my way. So we'll cover the full distance, and
Damn
then...
these imps. I need to reach the transponder.
Glorious. Although I suppose I could have seen whether or not my my warrior friend was free, so I could have got her to try and clear out one of the bad guys.
Throw their corpses in the sticks.
So if I have an opportunity for some kind of area of effect attack, I wanted to allow for the possibility.
The Helm's alien transponder. You've made it in time.
Did my beard just go across the room? By the way, I do apologize. This is on my hard drive, so if the load times are a little tedious, this is just this is a reflection of where I had the available space on short notice. If you put it on an SSD, I suspect your load times will be significantly shorter. Also, I noticed after Pyron, I don't know if Pyron's still around, but after a very kind host, I've sort of been bleeding views ever since. So my apologies if this isn't quite what you guys were expecting. I am curious, though, for those of you who are still sticking around, particularly if this is your first chance taking a look at Baldur's Gate 3, is this something you are... Like, what do you think of it so far? While we're waiting on the load screen, one thing that I've noticed and I like quite a bit, and I think this is because we've been playing Mass Effect and I've been talking about the cinematics, I like how there are these little cinematic moments in the game, but I never really feel like I've been reduced to passively watching it. It sort of feels like... So, you have little moments like this, which are setting the scene. Actually, that's a really nice image. I'll shut up for a little bit while we see what's going on here. So what you saw to that pillar there, that led me to have a very different impression of the visual fidelity of the game. I don't know if that'll be a hard drive thing that solves that, but your mileage may vary on how long it takes those textures to load. Yeah, so what I was trying to say a little bit before, I think one of the things that's really caught my attention about this is that there will be these interactions with characters, and there are these nice little cinematic moments inside of the game. So that's probably one of the earlier examples, or one of the first examples of something where like I'm kind of taking a break and watching stuff happen in the game. And that one I'm a little bit more okay with, just because it's, it's setting the stage, right? We're moving to another location. I'm not like dramatically opposed to cutscenes or something along those lines. But what's kind of neat is that this game seems to have a bit of a cinematic sense in sort of the idea. I mean, one, when we went out onto the Nautilus and we saw the landscape going by. That was really neat. But I just kind of like the fact that you have these. I guess the way that I could explain it would be is if you're sitting at the tabletop and you're not necessarily having fun in a role-playing game only when you're rolling dice. There might be a big moment that's being described, and it's because you have invested something in that character and in the outcome that it's very exciting for that reason. And I sort of like that so because it's all sort of in the same moment, it just happens to be changing the angle and whatnot. So whether you're having that interaction with the person who was captured in the pod, or you're sort of seeing these introductions to a scene. I don't know. It might just be because
There must be a settlement nearby.
It might be because I've sort of been primed to think of the game this way, but I sort of see the mapping of what a tabletop session and what the, and what the video game is. Like, I actually think it's kind of neat to sort of see how the things that would have happened in the mind's eye get translated into the video game. And yet I haven't necessarily felt like I do in some other games, that the game is sort of putting my involvement on hold. Actually, you know what? That's maybe the better way for me to put it. I like the fact that... whoa, what happened there? Oh. Okay, that's like a forced attack. So I sort of like the fact that sorry, I totally lost my train of thought after finding the attack one. I don't know. I guess I haven't run into a moment yet where I feel like Larian's taken away my ability to play the game. What they're doing is, they're taking that moment where you'd have somebody sort of tell you, you walk onto the battlefield and you see, a giant siege tower, or you see a dragon, or, or something along those lines. All of the moments where I haven't directly been, involved clicking buttons.
Must have been fishing when these monsters came. Bad luck.
all the things that don't involve me clicking or actively making decisions always seem to have been things that are establishing some stakes or the setting. And it's a touch that I really like. Like I said, I might just be like the perfect sap for marketing campaigns and whatnot, but I don't know. It kind of feels like D&D the video game, which I suspect is the intention.
Oh, those wretched things.
It doesn't look like they're hostile yet. I'll maybe skip going into that. Again, at this point, I'm just scavenging. Perfumed letter, still legible in spite of water stains and smeared ink. Sigh, I love you. There, I said it. And if you meet me tomorrow, I'll say it again, and again. And keep on saying it till we're old and grey. So let's do it. Let's go to Baldur's Gate. I know it's risky, but so's staying here. The last few months have been hard, but they're always a little easier when you're there. Leave your boat and meet me at the hill overlooking the old bridge. Bring whatever you can carry. We'll make do with the rest. Don't be late. Love, Anna. Maybe we'll see her at the hill and we can deliver. Shanties of the Bitch Queen, a salt-stained collection of sea shanties meant to honor Umberlee, goddess of the sea. I am not going to sing the sea shanty, but I will read the sea shanty. And we all row with the spray upon our necks, and we all row with the spray upon our backs, and we all row with the sea beneath our feet, and the bitch queen stays the storm. Wave mother, lash us to the prow. Wave mother, we ask you to sail your skirt if you allow. We ask to sail your skirt if you allow. Wave mother, sink us if you will. Wave mother, our skulls are yours, with brine and sand to fill. Souls away and anchors still, the wind won't move, without the bitch queen's will. We'll wait gladly, years and days, till the bitch queen brings the waves. Hey ho, she told us so. Hey ho, she told us so. So, someone with a little more courage or a better singing voice than me will... I feel like this guy would probably already know these sea shanties, but just in case you need a reference work. I feel like a braver content creator than me will try to put those to music. I mean, they're sea shanties. They're supposed to be something that, you know, half-literate people can...
Blasted door, What? Stop! Not another step or I'll... Wait. It's you. You're the one who tried to free me on the ship. At least, you made the effort.
Suddenly, you see what she sees, feel what she feels. Confusion, resolve, and a hint of gratitude.
Ah! Did you feel that? You've got the same thing I do, in your head.
That mind swap, I've experienced it before on the ship. You felt it too?
The same. It must be that tadpole they put in our eyes. I assume that's what caused our minds to cross. These things are going to consume us from the inside and turn us into mind flayers. You and I need a healer. Finding one won't be easy in this wilderness. We'll need supplies. I'm hoping something of use might be behind this door, but I've barely made a dent in it so far.
Don't worry, that's what magic is for, and I have plenty to spare.
Conjure ahead. I'm going to see what's at the top of this cliff. Hopefully there's no more of these creatures along the way.
Do you know if anyone else survived the crash? There were lots of people in those pods.
No, unless you count these monsters. You're the friendliest face so far.
Lines have been made on less. I could use your help.
Or just company for our final moments. But you're right. Whatever lies ahead will be a little less daunting with support. You can call me Shadowheart.
How did you end up on the ship in the first place?
That is none of your business. I suggest we concentrate on surviving.
Just to pool our knowledge, what do you know about the tadpole?
Very little. Supposedly, those monsters breed by planting their tadpoles in people's heads. Over time, the infected victim turns into a mind flayer. I don't remember how long it takes, but we should hurry.
I'm Tav. We better get moving.
Lead the way.
Companions General Tutorial. Click on a portrait to control the character. I kind of feel like we figured that one out already. Drag portraits apart to fit the party. And okay, we've got a few. So completed escape the Nautiloid. We've been so we were in hell. Okay, chapter 1, removing the parasite. Find a way to remove the mind flayer parasite. We've escaped hell on the Nautiloid and crashed somewhere into the somewhere back in the material plane. We need to explore the area and find a healer. Lazael told us that the parasite in our heads will transform us into mind flayers. We need to find a way to remove it. Explore the ruins. Find a way into the ruins. Shadowheart was trying to get into a building to look for supplies. We should see if there's anything useful in there. And companions, Daughter of Darkness, continue traveling with Shadowheart. We recruited a half-elf named Shadowheart. She was also aboard the Nautiloid and infected with a parasite. So I'm actually a little curious. Again, this is probably more about me and my lack of... So, I mean, I guess there's always going to be one who's like, why are you playing the game if you don't have perfect knowledge of it? Because it looks interesting, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far. But I'm curious if this is going to be one where... So there's, you know, if you think of some of the older games that have tried to capture a tabletop experience, I'm thinking particularly of the Elder Scrolls series, they sort of put you on a treadmill of things to do, and there's maybe not the expectation that you're going to take every single quest that comes your way. Whereas I sometimes feel that, you know, I guess it's debatable. Like, you didn't necessarily do every quest in Baldur's Gate, but I kind of feel like for some of the more Infinity Engine style ones, it was a little bit more natural to sort of keep progressing on. And I'm curious whether or not this will sort of take the approach where it just gives you an overwhelming amount of stuff to do, or just generally, when you see something inside this log, it's generally a good idea to do it. Oh. Well, I guess we know we can't get in through that door if that's... Johnny, I don't know if you're still around, but I'm actually kind of curious what you think of this, because I know I didn't pick a dwarf, and you'll never forgive me. But I know you were a little curious about this game, so... Oh, something
Better
wants
stay
me.
back. One strike could be lethal.
See, actually, tutorial-wise, the one thing that wasn't immediately clear to me was how the magic thing works. And again, this might just be something that somebody more familiar with D&D might be more familiar with. I'm trying to find the difference between these two. It gives me a +2. Well, you know what? Let's start with a smash. But yeah, it might be that somebody who's a little more familiar with D&D. Oh, looks like she's got... So what the hell is she then? Oh, no, not that. Trying to look at her character sheet. N. So she is a cleric, so she can heal... Okay, so spell slots are recovered after long rests. Okay, yeah, I'm getting this now. So this is good actually, because I remember when I first played, like the original Baldur's Gate, I was a little disappointed by the fact that it felt like my mage was only useful for a very narrow set of things. I'm going to bravely reposition and let the fighter or the cleric take care of everything. But I like this idea of cantrips just because it seems to... Whoa! A player character is downed. Use help to get them back up. Okay. Well, they weren't kidding when they said one strike could be lethal. This might be a time for me to try the grease bottle. Ooh, okay. They're not letting up. Revivify. A character in your party is dead. Use a scroll of Revivify to resurrect them. Good lord. Do I have a scroll of Revivify? I guess not. Oh, yes, I do. All right. I don't know if I'm supposed to be using that so quickly, but... Yikes. Okay. Alright, I gotta take my lumps. Okay, I thought the game was just being nice to me, but... that did not seem to do anything. So... 1d12, that's probably... yeah, let's take out the thing we know we can work with. So 2 of the values here will potentially kill this thing, whereas... yeah, so the lightning bolt is the right call here. Not sufficient for what I need, though, so... so I wonder what... project a puff of noxious gas that deals 1d12 poison. I mean, I don't think I can afford to experiment with that right now, so let's just... Alright, that was bracing. I suspect probably I screwed that up more. Resting your party, use the campfire button to long rest at your camp, restoring HP and resources. So for instance, there only seems to be 1 scroll of Revivify. I'm not sure if that's designed... well, I mean, I guess the dialogue did say, you know, watch out, they might kill you. But I don't know if you're supposed to lose a companion this early. Anyway, go to camp and end the day. I don't think I'm ready to end the day yet. I am definitely going to be a lot more careful with my characters, though. I don't necessarily want to go all that deeper in the ship yet. I'm trying to be a little cautious along those lines, just knowing that we're going to be coming up against some, potentially coming up against some people who can take out my party members. Oh. Advantage, disadvantage means you have a higher or lower chance of hitting your target. You can gain advantage or disadvantage via your position during combat, special abilities, actions, or spells. Death saving throws. When a character's HP reaches 0, they must roll a die to stay alive. Death saving throw. The character rolls a die each turn. Each roll either succeeds or fails. After 3 successes, the character is stabilized. After 3 failures, the character is dead. Characters can be saved by their allies by being healed, or if someone uses the help action on them during the death saving throws. Stabilized characters still need an ally to use the help action on them. Moving and stacking objects. Many objects in this world can be moved and stacked on top of one another by clicking and dragging them. Climb objects by right-click. Oh! I didn't even think you could do that. Lockpicking. Complex locks will require higher skill in sleight of hand. This is, again, this is why I tend to get excited about these kinds of games, is I never really, like, I'm very used to playing video game RPGs, and I sort of understand that the range of actions that I might take as someone playing a video game will be different than potentially be different than something that you would do. So, it's very natural in a tabletop game to say, oh, I grab that ladder over there and I use it to climb up. Whereas in a game, like, I suppose if you're a reasonably clever environment artist, you don't include objects that would stop someone from, that would make someone say, well, why can't I just take that ladder that's over there and get past that obstacle? But, like, again, obviously your imagination is pretty, your imagination can lead you to a lot of options. And I think what's neat about this, and again, this is something that probably struck me so much about Divinity, was the fact that they're obviously not going to be able to plan for every contingency, but they do a very good job of making me feel like they've thought about every contingency. And it sort of, it really invests me in terms of this, in terms of this experience. Why is it 3 rolls? Isn't it still a 50% chance? I have no idea. I'm just going by what the tutorial said. I know that guy said he needs some help. Super Regular Brothers, thank you very much for the follow. I'm glad. I've been a little nervous because I since I saw Isaac Newton. I know some people just like to. Actually, maybe I should clarify. That might have been a little more terse than you were expecting, Isaac Newton. I don't know the D&D rules, and so I get the impression from people in chat that there are some things which, if you play D&D, it will be immediately familiar to you. Because I have not had the experience of playing the rule set it's not that I haven't played D&D before, but I think it was like 3rd edition or something like that I played. I don't even know what edition I was playing. I seem to remember 3s being mentioned though. But yeah, it seems like some people are taking that for granted. Anyways, thank you very much for that follow, Super Regular Brothers. Because again, I know people like lurking, but it always makes me a little nervous when I get a...
I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
I'm never sure if it's being sufficiently entertaining for people. You're at work, unable to play. Oh, excellent. Well, what do you think of the game so far? Assuming that you're not going to be pulled away from work too much. I'm very pleasantly surprised by it. Wee bit further than you. Thanks. Yeah, well, this is the big thing, right? Is that I tend to feel like games like this are probably, like, it's fun for me to rush through stuff because, like, I can blast through it, but I only really get one opportunity to have a first impression on a game like this. So being able to sort of say, oh, hey, look at that thing over there, or to be able to talk about first impressions. If I don't do it now I'm never gonna get a chance to do it. So I'm glad it's working for some. All right. You love the game? Okay, that's good. I mean, it gives me something to look forward to too, right? So, easily stand back. It's gonna wind up being like us.
There. Can you see it? Shh. Not a sound. Not if you want to keep that darling neck of yours. Now, I saw you on the ship, didn't I? Nod?
I mean, it's less than 50% chance for a guy who's got his knife at my throat. Oh, that's upsetting.
You wriggling little... Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm, the light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
Was for a cantrip to... Yeah, of course we gotta do that. Oh, just got it.
Ah, damn it! I saw into your mind. They took you. Just the same as me. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
I'm loving the wiggly beard. Got to see we're all caught up now.
Indeed we are. Please, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
I guess that answers the earlier question someone had about what city that was. Sure, introduce yourself. You're Baldur.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles. So, do you know anything about these worms?
Yes, unfortunately, they'll turn us into mind
Turn
flayers.
us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
Control it. We need to get rid of it.
Well, yes, of course. But first things first.
I really want there to be a description. It's like you wiggle your beard in disapproval. Travel with me. Our odds are better together.
I was ready to go this alone. But maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know. All right. I accept. Lead on.
All right, let's see. The Pale Elf. Continue traveling with Astarion. We met a strange elf who has also been infected with a parasite. He was hostile at first, but agreed to join us when he learned that we were infected too. Sorry if you guys just heard a bunch of Windows sounds. That is the work laptop doing work laptop things. I guess, you know, I don't want to spend too much time away from... Well, there's 3 of us now, so...
More survivors? They're trying to dig somebody out of the wreckage.
Something's wrong. They should be trying to get away if they had any sense.
So much blood.
Dig! Faster! Get her out of there! Don't die.
Oh, they're getting the mind flare out.
The person they're trying to save, it's the creature from the ship. Still alive, but wounded.
My IRL perception is 2. It's clouding your minds. Look at what's in front of you.
Your words fall on deaf ears. The creature's hold on them is too strong.
Monster! That's my daughter! She's dying! You did this! You want to kill her!
Not crazy about putting my guy in immediate danger like this. Well, I gotta move the claret first anyway. Yeah, I suppose I should just club anybody that that I can. Nice. We'll get in close. Still thinking I'm probably more effective at range, but at the very least I can get the height. Oof. Leveling up. To level up, use the cross button on the character's portrait in the bottom left to gain the benefits of leveling up. We'll maybe save that for the end of combat. Okay, now if this guy isn't a thief or a rogue or something, I don't know what is. Yeah. So, presumably there is some kind of backstab. Sneak attack. Exploit a foe's distraction to deal 1d4 plus 3 piercing. Okay, so I gotta get in range first. Didn't quite do the trick, but fair enough.
Suddenly, something convulses inside you. Your vision lurches sickeningly. You are one with your assailants, your minds fused together. They are frightened, lost. The creature in the wreckage is forcing them to attack you, controlling them like puppets. Its voice shivers across your brain, seeking access, trying to bend your will to its bidding.
Suppose I should have tried to kill the thing rather than the assailants. Focus your mind, try to break its influence.
The presence in your mind gropes for purchase and finds the tadpole instead. You push back, taking advantage of a tremor of pain that cuts through the creature. As its influence wanes, your assailants lower their weapons, blinking in confusion.
I hope they didn't like the halfling that much.
That thing, it was speaking in my head. Oh, humbly spare us, no. My friends, what happened to them? What's going on?
I don't know, because apparently this is the most important thing the camera could be looking at. Just defending myself, I'm sorry.
I understand. Just please know that we meant no harm. We saw the crash and came to help. That thing got a hold of us. We were ready to die for it. Came ashore so fast, we crashed the boat. I don't know what we'll do now.
Yeah, I love we're going in the pain Olympics here. It could be worse. Your ship didn't crash from the sky. Your boat, can it be repaired?
Perhaps. But I wouldn't like to tarry too long in this wilderness. We're
Where are we?
nowhere I can find on a map. I know Baldur's Gate is a few days downriver, but wait. Your mind. I can still feel it like an echo. You're like that thing.
Calm down. They did something to me, but I escaped.
Please, I'm grateful for your help. Truly. But I don't want any more trouble. I'll go, all right? I'll go.
Yeah, I actually feel a little bad about that, but...
You approach the dying monster. This is the thing that abducted you. You could end its life here and now. If only you didn't feel compassion. Compassion?
Oh, you should be furious, shouldn't you?
Yes, you feel hate. And you deserve to be punished for it. You should be whipped. Made to bow before this creature in shame.
Oh, this is a nice touch.
It's possessing your mind, forcing you to love it. But then, the feeling slips. The creature's mind seems to focus elsewhere.
Concentrate on its thoughts.
You try to break through, but its mind is impenetrable. With a last surge of defiance, it slaps your efforts away. The monster lies exhausted, defeated. Its eyes, wet orange pearls, radiate malice.
I'll admit, I thought it was actually my main character, not Asterion, but...
Simpletons. The beast was half dead and they still bowed to its whims.
Just common folk, have some sympathy.
It wasn't enough to save them. Now I have to have emotions about it. Traveling with you is going to be exhausting.
Okay, let's see how leveling works. Through experience, you acquire new power. You gain the following traits. Maximum hit points per level, so I think that's total hit points, 17. Yeah. Your class constitution modifier and relevant racial traits. Hit points increase with every level that you gain in class. A warlock spell slot upgraded. I get to pick these. Okay. Agonizing Blast. When you catch Eldritch Blast, add your Charisma modifier to the damage it deals unless it's negative. Well, that's pretty much... Sure. Once per long rest, you can cast Bane using a Warlock spell slot. I don't know what Bane is, though. Well, I mean, beyond that guy who sounds like Sean Connery talking into a coffee cup, but... you can cast Mage Armor on yourself at will without expending a spell slot. That would be helpful, but I don't think I have Mage Armor. Speak with animals at will without expending a spell slot. Invoke your patron's bewitching charm. You gain proficiency in the deception and persuasion skills. That might be helpful. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 18 meters. Fiendish Figure, you can cast False Life on yourself at will as a first level spell without expending a spell slot. Mask of Many Faces, you can disguise yourself at will without expending a spell slot. Repelling Blast, when you hit a creature with Eldritch Blast, you can push the creature up to 4.5 meters away from you. So this is actually a... Yeah, so the trick here, I'm trying to figure out if going deep with Eldritch Blast is the way to go. I don't know, I like the idea of beguiling, especially given that this is kind of the main character. Beguiling Influence doesn't seem to be that bad of a choice. So it says spells, the one it's defaulted for me is Hex. So curse a creature to deal An additional 1d6 necrotic whenever you hit it with an attack. This creature also has disadvantage on ability checks for one ability of your choosing. Tempting. What are my other choices here? So, Armor of Agathis. A spectral frost covers you, 5 temporary hit points. Now that I see spell slots, I want to keep in mind that these are things that I'm going to have to make a choice as to when I use it. Being able to... So some crowd control like Halt would be kind of neat. But again, the question would be, do I want to use up a spell slot for that? I'm kind of happy I didn't go for Hellish Rebuke, given the fact that it takes up a spell slot, and I seem to be pretty fragile. I think I'm going to try Charm Person, because I can see some situations where that will be helpful. When it says replacement spell, I guess, yeah, so I'm either getting rid of Arms of Hadar or Witch Bolt in favor of one of these others. I think I'm going to leave that be for now, so we will accept what we've been given. We might as well get this done for the other characters. So, interesting. So my Cleric has less HP than my Warlock. Well, the game started me off with it. So we've got Create, Water, Guiding Bolts, Healing Word, Bane. Oh, okay, so we've already got a halt there. We could do Chronic Wounds, Protection from Good and Evil, Shield of Faith, Bless, Cure Wounds. Bonus action assault. Okay, so it's a heavier version of heal. So if I were to... So I could see myself taking out Bane in favor of Cure Wounds. Again, because I'm just considering what is going to be taking up spell slots. Yeah, let's go for that. I can see Create Water being helpful. Yeah, let's work with that. Trickery Domain, level 1 to level 2 subclass feature. Invoke Duplicity. Summon an illusion to distract your enemies. You and your allies receive advantage on attack rolls against a creature if both the attacker and the illusion are within 3 meters of it. Okay. I do like that I'm learning a little bit more about how these things work. I mean, by reading. And apparently rogues are very simple. So through experience you acquire a new power. You gain the following traits. 15 HP. And apparently I didn't have dash on him before. Alright, so yeah, I suppose my Warlock is, by HP at least, the tank. Oh, I actually picked up a helmet too. Although, if I'm honest, the Cleric's going to spend more time in melee. So I suppose it's better that I let her... Oh, hang on, she's already got... Never mind. And then I suppose I should send the more rogue-oriented things to Starion. Obviously, not all of these are... I don't necessarily need every item. Suppose for now we'll look particularly fancy. I will leave the rest of these. All right, so at this point, I know it says...
Footprints. They're maybe even more that survived the crash.
I'm partly trying to do what Shadowheart said and follow through, check out the cliffs.
You're alive. That's unexpected. Last I saw you, you were lying in a crucible's worth of blood. An intellect devourer nibbling at your ear. Glad to see my eyes deceive me. I'm Gale. Well met.
Well met. Were you on the ship as well, I presume?
The very same. A traumatizing experience, if an instructive one.
By trauma, I suppose you mean the thing they put in my eye?
Yes. The ocular penetration by an illithid tadpole, which will end with our souls being snuffed like strands of weave caught in dead magic. Not to mention, you're staring at me like a Rashimi at a blackboard. You're no wizard, are you?
Why do you ask?
Because I need one, and it'll have to wait. The primary need now is a healer. I take it you recall the insertion of the parasite?
Recall it, yes, vividly.
Are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it'll turn us into mind flayers? A process known as ceremorphosis? It is to be avoided. I assume you're no accomplished healer either. Powerful cleric, maybe?
Look, is this a conversation or an interrogation?
Just trying to figure out where we stand. Conclusion, nowhere. You and I are in a whole lot of trouble. We need help, and I'm not sure where we'll find it in this wilderness. How about we embark on the quest for a healer together?
Sounds like a plan. You're welcome to join me.
Most excellent. Then, without further ado, let's be off. Besides, looks like you keep some interesting company. A woman with shadows for eyes, deep as the dark lake. Pleasure, madam.
All right.
Is it indeed? We'll see.
I love the presence of this character, but good God, I hate this guy already. I do actually love the fact that the wizard is a complete know-it-all. That is a very nice touch. All right, extra hit points, prepared spells. So it's given us Witch Bolt, Fog Cloud, Grease, Sleep, Thunderweave. I could get instead Mage Armor, Featherfall, Ray of Sickness. I think I'll get rid of Fog Cloud in favor of Mage Armor. I realize I'm not going to be able to cast it that many times, but it's pretty clear that my one of my weaknesses is I don't really have anybody in a position to absorb a lot of hits. Evocation spells focus on elemental energy into powerful attacks and enchantments. Those who specialize in this school are known as evokers. Or we could have Abjuration. Abjuration spells summon wards, banish enemies, and nullify magic, suitable for those who wish to defend themselves and others. Well, I mean, yes, I kind of need to, but there's something about being able to shoot lightning bolts out of my hands. I feel magic missiles kind of a requirement. Also, I haven't saved yet. I don't know how often it auto-saves, but oop. So I'm assuming with these rune circles, I can just travel... No, I guess not. I thought I could just travel directly to... Oh yeah, it's right here. So where's camp? Oh, I didn't actually... I thought I was going to highlight it on the map.
This seems as good a place as any to make camp.
So now I gotta find where I am in relation to everything else. I guess this is where I dump all my crap when I've loaded up too much. This is fun to explore, but I feel like I've probably missed something about waypoints, because it looks like I'm able to enter the camp, but I don't have the waypoint symbol to go back. That's fine. It's a chance to learn. I'm sure there's something very obvious that I've missed. I mean, there is something to be said that while I'm here, I can at least take a short rest and replenish. Why not? Short rest. I don't get it, but I was trying to get the guys to start moving together. Okay, I guess it's just fast travel. Okay, I'm actually gonna have to figure out how to get all these people. Gone are the days of you must gather your party before venturing forth. Alright, I'm still not 100% sure how that ordering thing works, but I'm able to move the people the way that I wanted. So that was probably much more complicated, or I made that much more complicated than I probably needed to, but... Chapel entrance. Alright, this definitely feels like... so given that there's a big marker here, this feels like actual progress, and... I'll be damned if I let you people see any more of this game. No, I want to try and explore. I don't know. This is just the way I normally do games like this. I like to kind of explore the surrounding areas before I go too far on quests. I think what causes that is there's a tendency.
You again.
I don't want to talk to you either. I think the reason for that is every once in a while, a game will have it so that if you walk into a certain location, it'll advance the story and you can't go back to the old area. Now, the thing is, games like this tend not to do that. Like, I suspect I'm probably going to be able to keep walking back here. I don't know why I decided to run into the fire, but... yeah, and then I just burned the entire party too. The game actually tried to prevent me from doing that too. At this point, I'm just gonna... I kind of want to see how this works. It's neat. I'm not sure if there's like a prize for figuring out how to do that, but I have a feeling that'll be helpful. Anyways, yeah, so I've kind of been burned by enough games where I've wanted to do something, and it because I just happened to walk into that one area that advanced the story, and like it moves the level forward, and the level like never comes up again. I always tend to do a lot of the ancillary stuff like ahead of time. Scare. Okay. I just want to have a conversation with them. Raise your palms to calm the boar. The boar charges. Oh. I think there was another option to do something that I clicked over. Okay, so it doesn't seem like there's anything else for us to do in the area, so we can now head towards our real goal. Preferably not walking through the fire this time, but sometimes you just want an adventure. Actually, that's not entirely true. I'm going to be going to an area that's beside the major waypoint. Hello. I think this is something the...
Broken. Must have been here a while.
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad and twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
You again. Get rid of them.
This creature is dangerous. Get out of here. Leave it to me.
He's right. Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
Blast? I could use more
You
specifics.
didn't hear it. Shook our camp good, so we came for a look.
I'm in dire need of healing. Where's this camp?
Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
And be careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Say please.
Never.
Okay.
Observe.
Enough dawdling. Get me down.
Let's just take a quick look at what we've got. So removing the parasite. Find a way to remove the Mind Flayer parasite. There's a healer named Nettie in the camp nearby. Maybe she can help us. We've escaped hell on the Nautiloid and crashed somewhere in the material... Sorry, I should be reading bottom to top. We need to explore the area and find a healer. Lae'zel told us that the parasite in our heads will transform us into Mind Flayers. We need to find a way to remove it. Get help from the healer Nettie. There's a camp nearby where someone named Nettie can supposedly heal any wound. She might be able to help us remove the parasite. Free Lae'zel. We've convinced the tieflings to leave Lae'zel with us. And the Wizard of Waterdeep, a wizard named Gale, joined the party. He claims to have been on the Nautiloid, which means he's infected too.
Questionable intellect.
Unsurprising.
Release me, or enjoy a future as Geich.
What does Gaek mean?
Mind flayers. The atrocities we are becoming.
Becoming? There's no hope for us, is there?
I know a remedy. Release me and I will share it.
Now we're talking.
tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Lies. Just get rid of her.
What exactly is a creche?
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter. Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a Geich tadpole, we must report to a caretaker for purification.
Simple thank you wouldn't go amiss.
You may as well suggest a wyvern bow to worms. The cure I offer will suffice as thanks.
All right, we'll journey together. Let's find this creche.
You are full up. Dismiss your weakest warrior.
Wait at my camp. We can speak
Very
there.
well, but I cannot wait long.
So I figure we can go to the.
Nor can you?
I figure we can go to the northwest to cure ourselves, and then we can follow up on her request. I'm trying to think of who I'd want to spike. Cleric seems helpful. I guess Gale is the one who isn't necessarily contributing the most to the party right now. For the time being, I will explore. I definitely do want her in the party. Actually,
Another broken trap. Who made these things?
yeah, we're probably going to run into the tieflings again, and I suspect that's going to be causing problems. But I would actually really like to have a fighter in the party, even if she doesn't know how to say
I hear
please and
shouting
thank
up
you.
ahead.
We should check it out, but be careful.
Open the bloody gate! Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders! That pack of goblins will be on us any second! What's going on? Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now! You let goblins here? Where is the druid? Please, there's no time! By the nine hells! Open the gates! Ow! Ah! Cannon! No! Shit! Form a line!
This will be interesting to see how large, sort of large-scale combat works. He's got a high ground advantage. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to try and take out the weakest targets, or if I want to soften up some of the heavier stuff. Let's take pieces off the board first, I think. Oh crap. Okay, I'm clearly not going to be moving. Doesn't really help me with initiative, but I like... Yeah, I like where we can go with this. I'm trying to decide if I want to stand my ground or not. I am still... Well, no, with 7 HP, I'm no longer the most eligible for free attacks. Oh, come on! Okay, let's see. Trying to think of the best way that I can get some meaningful damage in. So, call for the frigid beam of blue-white light, deals 1d8 cold, reduces target speed by 3 meters. That would probably be the best on the warg here, because it's going to want to close some distance with us. Mage armor was also tempting, but I don't think we're clear on who's going to be involved in combat yet. So let's slow down the warg. Or completely fail to deliver. We'll hide behind everyone else.
Make way for the blade of frontiers. There is no escaping the blade.
All right, that guy just completely showed all of us up. All right, let's see if we can turn this around. So I can take my action to heal my... Yeah, I kind of need to do that to... I think I want to try and get the most out of my heals, so I will end it there. Okay, let's try and avoid too many more engagements. Not a great chance, but okay, pin down works for me. Well, what was the point of charming that guy then? I'm seeing some opportunities with the grease coming up. So if we chuck the grease bottle here. But I also need fire. Oh, that was a full action. Okay, that's a little different from what I was expecting. So yeah, right idea, wrong implementation, because unless I actually have a way of setting that alight, it's not gonna mean that much. So I suppose I end this turn. It probably would have been better just to do the Eldritch Blast, or to jump into their face and do the poison spray. But nope, he slipped. All right. Let's try the firebolt on the. So yeah, the grease may not actually have the intended effect. Let's... Okay, now I gotta just, I need to be thinking a little bit about how I want to be spending my last few points. So, in this case, Wait a minute. I'm not 100% clear on channel divinity here. I'll figure that out later, though. So what I need to be figuring out right now is how do I want to spend some of these scarce resources. So, for instance, I can try healing up some people, or I can try and bring her into the fray. I guess the catch here is that she's not really, she's not that much of a heavy hitter. But then again, if I keep everybody away, yeah, you know what? It's not a great chance to hit the warg, but we can still run with it. And she does start tying things down. All right. So I've already used up my pin, so we can either keep going on the warg, but in honesty, this guy has been sort of raining down death on us for the whole time. So let's just clear him out. We'll probably follow up with a... I figure I'll probably follow up with a... what am I trying to say? Like a Eldritch Blast. Ah, good. The reinforcements are taking the war. Okay, so again, we'll clear out the guy who's causing us the greatest difficulty. Not impressive.
Witness the might of the blade.
Nice. Okay, let's see if I can make the magic happen with the goblin tracker. I figure the cantrip is sufficient, seeing he's at 2 damage. There we go. Am I missing something here? Summon an illusion to distract your enemy. Oh, okay, there we go. And if I want to do the free heal, I suppose I can. I think for now we'll just lock people in position. And knowing what I know now... I'm going to try and go for a backstab. Nice. Oof! Alright, I should have paid attention. So that illusion is not having the intended effect. We're probably going to wind up resting for real this time, so I think a Witch Bolt makes sense. Well, that or I can try the arms. Okay, actually this is an interesting one. So when I take a look at Witch Bolt, we've got calls forth a beam of crackling purple energy, deals 1d12 lightning, links you to the target through an arc of lightning. Now I'm not 100% sure. Oh, each turn you can activate the arc automatically to deal. That's why that's good. Because it's like, well, if I do 2d6, I know my minimum value is going to be higher. But if I can do this over multiple turns... Yeah, well, turns out I didn't need to, but... So now I think we're just dealing with the goblin leader at this point. So I may not have enough range to do anything about him. Yeah, sadly, we're just short of what we needed. So I suppose now's not a bad time to do a dash. I was going to say, I didn't fancy Barth's chance of surviving, but he's still up. Now, I'm not going to dash here. Like I said, we're probably going to wind up having a proper rest after this, so we'll do a full cure wounds. And I think... Oh! I didn't even think about the proximity. Well, that's a pity. We'll settle for ending the turn and just get my other character in close. That's not a sneak. Well, might be. That's funny that I don't seem to have a way of adjusting the position in the initiative. I feel like that's something you should normally be able to do. We are not impressing any of our allies right now. Good God. All right.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate! Where is that bastard? Damn vermin.
I think before we go any further, let's get my... No! Don't do it on yourself!
Take your...
There we go. Let's try and get everybody up to... So again, it may be a moot point just because... Oh yeah, and it's important to loot. It might be a moot point because I think if I'm going to be resting everyone... Anyway, they didn't wait for me. Fair enough. It seems just as well to... seems just as well to be prepared. I'll check out what all this stuff is later. So the fact that that's red makes me a little concerned. I'm gonna guess that that's gonna be taken as a theft, but I want to see if the game gives me any feedback. I'm not actually gonna... So if this were to be an Iron Man save, I just wouldn't touch this, but... Oh, leave that be. Okay. I guess I don't need to bring the whole party to loot the tracker, but... Stealing is bad. You should borrow without permission. Slightly better. What do you think of Baldur's Gate 3 so far, Starbright Knight? I don't know if this is normally the kind of thing you're interested in.
There are children here, you fool! We was running for our lives. You led them straight to us, and you let them take the druid too? Unbelievable!
Druid, those goblins didn't take any prisoners.
We lost him back at the ruins. Whole place is crawling. He trusted you. Nobody forced him to go with us. He insisted. My God, you're a coward.
The human's eye twitches. He's about to blow.
Violence won't bring back what you've lost. Stop and think.
You're right. There's too much at stake.
Worried about your precious hides, the both of you.
Enough! Squabbling is pointless. The goblins have found us.
At least we agree on that.
Let's check for healer, then move on. Whatever else is happening here isn't our concern.
Let's not be too hasty. These people might need help.
We won't help anyone if we turn into mind flayers. Let's move.
With over 500 games between PC and console, I don't think I actually have a type of game name. Fair enough.
Forgive that display. Aradin's a blowhard, but that's no cause for me to join him. Thank you for your help out there. I'm Zevlor.
I'm
well
Zav.
met. I should warn you, visitors are no longer welcome in this grove. Whatever your business, I'd see to it quickly. The druids are forcing everyone out. This attack will only strengthen their resolve.
Are they forcing you out?
There have been several attacks by different monsters. The druids blame us outsiders for drawing them here. Nobody's welcome anymore. They've started a ritual to cut the grove off from the world outside. We can't stay, but we'll be slaughtered if we leave. We're no fighters.
I need a healer.
Goblin got you. The druid Halsin's a renowned healer, but he didn't make it back from Aradin's expedition. If it's not too serious, you could try his apprentice Nettie. She's with the other druids in the inner grove. They've withdrawn there to prepare this damn ritual of theirs.
Something tells me I'm not going to get healed until we deal with the goblins, but... This ritual, is there no way to convince the druids to stop it?
I've tried. Korga, their new first druid, won't even see me. You, though? I know it's not your business, but she owes you for saving this place. Perhaps you could persuade her, for more time to prepare, if nothing else.
I'll see what I can do.
Really? We're messengers now.
We'd owe you a great debt. If we're forced to leave now, we won't make it to the city. You'll find the druids at the heart of the grove. Please, make them see sense before more lives are lost.
Okay, I'm getting kind of close to where I need to wrap up, especially because I've got a few other things that I need to do, but let's see if we can get to the healer. That sort of seems like a natural cutoff point. And then we can pick this up at another time. So I should just caution. I mean, the shame here, of course, is that we're definitely at a little bit of a lower point in terms of viewership and that. I'm definitely interested in doing more of this game.
Canon didn't deserve this.
This grove is kept by Sylvanus' faithful.
I thought that I thought that bringing I don't know the name of that race, but I thought bringing the fighter would have caused problems, but it looks like those folks are already here. But yeah, the only challenge that I am running into right now is that there's quite a bit on my plate. So we're going to have Boyfriend Dungeon coming up on the 15th. I'm going to try and go through that the whole way. And then we're still going through Mass Effect. So one of the reasons why Baldur's Gate was appealing, in addition to the fact that obviously God gave me the key, and if you guys would like to pick it up using their affiliate link, or is it not affiliate link? I don't have an affiliate link with them, but you can use their...
Let my daughter go right now! She's a thief, hellspawn, and you will wait for Korga's judgment. Now get back! Oh, let me through, Mradrasham, or I'll rip your damn throat out!
Damn it.
taken those guards?
I'd rather you not get eaten by a bear.
If you'd like the DRM free version, you can get that on GOG, who gave me the key for the broadcast. But yeah, the plan will be to
Do all the damn rituals you want.
because it's an early access game. It's a little bit.
Palms.
It's a little bit.
Over.
We're not scared of you.
This is just like
That went so well last
this is just like Divinity, where there's so much crosstalk that it's a little hard to speak up. Basically, the idea will be we'll check in periodically with this game to just kind of see how it's developed, see how it's going. If there's enough interest, I'll happily kind of turn this into a more regular thing. But in the current state, I think doing these sort of special casts every once in a while is not a bad way of taking it up. It also gives me a chance to maybe get a little more familiar with the setting, because I think there's a couple of things that it takes for granted which I'm not familiar with. This has definitely made me interested enough that I kind of want to figure out what some of these races are and whatnot. Anyways, let's see if we can get the healing in.
Stop! Move back at once!
Why? What's so special down here?
It's forbidden to outsiders. Korga's orders.
If it were for me, that you'd be overrun by goblins with now. I'll go where I please.
Kick back! Force my hand and I'll show you its claws.
A moment, Giorna.
What? Oh, I understand. You. Apparently Korga wants to see you. Go ahead.
It's funny. I mean, it's the challenge. I don't think games should be designed specifically for streaming. I think streaming is something that just sort of happened, and it wound up being like, if you think about it, right? The idea of streaming becoming as big and influential as it is does not make sense at all. Like, you want to sit down and watch people play games rather than play them yourself. Obviously, if you were to sit down, like, if you don't have the benefit of living today and realizing that it's not like it. So I think streamers have kind of a sense of self-importance that really isn't all that helpful. But I'm just looking for the healer, man. But yeah, I mean, with that in mind, like, it's not really something we can ignore, I think is what I'm trying to say with it.
Sylvanus, the old oak, all death begets life.
But what I noticed with the original Divinity, Original Sin was okay, I gotta check the log. What I noticed was when you'd go through town, like, there'd be constant chatter and sort of the same line over and over again. I was trying to play multiplayer with someone. It was really hard for me to keep track of what we were saying to each other, because I've just got people like rattling off their shopping lists in my ear every couple of minutes. So it's it's 50-50, right? Like, to a certain extent, I think it's better so in my view, a game should create a world that I want to be invested in. Sometimes that means having characters with a bit of a mind of their own, going around trying to do things that they're, following their own motivations is an idea, and having some barks in the background sort of fits with that. But it does create a challenge, especially with me, where the only real added value I'm creating is through my talk. Particularly if it's dialogue that I don't want to miss and it throws me off my train of thought, it can sometimes be quite disruptive. But it's a balance. And again, in my view, I'd prefer that the game be made as a good game first, and that the broadcast side of it needs to be worked around. Anyways, Healer Nettie, look for Nettie in the Inner Sanctum. There's a camp somewhere where Nettie can supposedly heal any wound. Okay. So I realize I'm ignoring a whole bunch of activity inside here, but it's something for us to do after
I'm sorry.
on the next
I'm sorry.
next episode.
Please. I'm sorry.
This is madness, Korga. She's just a...
A what, Wrath? A thief? A poison? A threat? I will imprison the devil, and I will cast out every stranger.
Thief? Poison? What's the girl's actual crime?
Girl? You mean parasite? She eats our food, drinks our water, then steals our most holy idol in thanks. Wrath, lock her up. She remains here until the rite is complete. And keep still, devil. Tila is restless.
Come, Korga. We took back the idol. Surely...
Do it.
I shake my beard in disapproval. The druids cherish harmony. Jailing the girl disrupts nature's balance. Ah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, it was a good show, but...
I hear the Tree Father's spirit in your words. It is as you say. Sif, sif. Tila, to me.
I look so pleased with myself.
Has its limits.
Thank you, Korga. Master Halsin would...
Halsin isn't here. Keep his name off your tongue, lest Tila pierce it.
Save Arbella. We saved a child named Arbella from being killed by a snake. She immediately ran to her parents. We should speak with them. All right.
That woman has more venom in her heart than a snake in its fangs. But at least the child is safe. What is youth if not a time to be forgiven for one's transgressions?
It sounds like you have something to confess.
Ha! And you don't? You're wholly without vice or sin, or the occasional lapse in judgment? No. You don't strike me as quite that boring.
All right. Did say Nilo would be in here. Oh, Nettie, rather. And yeah, it's a little funny to see how I have no idea how the lip syncing works in games. I have a little bit of an idea about how it works in more traditional animation, and I'm assuming that there's some overlap. But it is kind of fun. Like it was a little hard for me at first because I probably, to my detriment in some cases, I do like applying the principle of charity, right? That if there are two interpretations of something that was said, something that was done, being somewhat sympathetic to the point of view. So this is helpful online, right? Where if you're dealing with something that could potentially be sarcasm or basically is not as awful as it seems to start off with, there can be a benefit in extending, the more charitable interpretation for the purposes of moving the dialogue forward. I mean, some people show themselves to be jackasses, and then you can deal with it at the time. But obviously, I don't want to assume that someone is making a dumber point than they actually are. And so in the case of a game, we know it's early access. So there's a perfectly reasonable interpretation that says, the lips aren't moving because it hasn't been implemented yet. But at the same time, we have a character who is able to hear other characters' thoughts. And we were dealing with somebody else who was affected for the parasite for the longest time. So I was genuinely trying to figure out whether or not it was nonverbal communication between the two characters, or, as you say, the ventriloquist act. But it's pretty clear at this point we're running into other NPCs who are not yet moving their lips, and so it's just a question of it not being implemented yet. I wonder if there's an algorithm, like there has to be at some point some kind of an algorithmic solution where like people are not manually doing all the lip movements, but I'm assuming that has to give you like a framework, and then you bring someone in to sort of polish the material afterwards. But I mean, I don't know, right? Like it could just be that one of the things that happens in a game is that somebody actually sits down and takes the time to work out all the lip movements, at which point I have no idea what localization looks like.
I see you. Just give me a moment.
Is there something I can do to help?
A moment. This medicatrix. There. It's up to her now. Life or death. Now, what was it you needed?
I'm looking for Nettie.
You found her, but I still don't know what she can do for you.
Do you know anything about mind flayers?
Why are you asking?
It's no good way of putting this. I have a tadpole in my head.
A tadpole? A mind flayer tadpole?
What other kinds are there? It's not like a frog hopped in my head. You know of them? Can you help me?
I'll do what I can. Come, follow me. I might be able to help. We need to be quick. This way. Head on in. This one had the same problem as you. Attacked us in the woods together with some goblins. Tadpole crawled out of his head soon after.
The drow and I have the same kind of parasite?
Seems so. Gave Master Halsin a right start. It's why he joined the adventurers on their expedition. To find out what was happening. A pity you got me instead of him. He spent days studying the Drow's tadpole. Maybe he found an easier way. Still... Give me your arm, please.
What is that?
A cure. Now your arm, please. You don't have time for games. You don't have to be here for this.
Please, don't mind me. I'll just watch.
There. Be careful. Your legs will probably give out first.
Wait, my legs? What kind of cure is this?
I'm sorry. Maybe Master Halsin could have plucked it from your head, but I can't. Without him here, the only treatment for an illithid tadpole is death. You're a risk to the people around you. I'm truly, truly sorry. For what it's worth, the poison is painless. It'll be like going to sleep.
Give me the antidote, now.
I can't risk you turning. You'd kill us all.
Give me the goddamn antidote!
I won't. I can't.
You can't do this. Your leader needs to talk to me.
I'm sorry. There's nothing you can say to change my mind. The door's locked. Neither of us are leaving until this is done.
Emergent toxic infection, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, charisma, and wisdom are reduced by 2. The more the creature rests, the worse it feels. I don't think I have a... Yeah, I don't think I have a solution to this. This is an unexpected turn. I was really getting ready to wrap up.
What's that?
What's what? Oh.
Yes? Is there anything I can do? Aside from the obvious?
It's nice of them to give me another chance.
Same as the Drow. But Master Halsin said he'd turn eventually.
So I have time. I have a chance.
All right. Master Halsin thought the tadpole was dormant. So you have some time. Perhaps it's only fair I let you use it. But first... this is a vial of wyvern poison. Swear to me you'll swallow it if you feel any symptoms.
Swear,
I hope it doesn't come to that, but... thank you. Here.
And here's the antidote. Do not mix those two up.
I'm pretty sure the animation just did.
You must understand, that tadpole puts you in grave danger. Finding Master Halsin is your only chance.
Can you give me any idea where to start?
Ask the humans that abandoned him. They're the only ones who know what really happened out there. All I know is they went to the old temple of Selûne, and he didn't make it back.
Did you kill that drow because he was going to turn?
Oh no. He would have slit me navel to nape if Master Halsin hadn't put him down. The drow was with a pack of goblins. Not a common sight.
Why can Halsin help me, but you can't?
Master Halsin's a renowned healer. He studied the drow's tadpole for days, and concluded he needed to find the source of the infection to understand its nature. We can only hope he succeeded in his mission. Otherwise, that vial's your only option.
I got other
Remember what I
team
said.
members.
Remember your oath.
All right, cool.
Take it one step at a time, Nettie. Come on.
Although I'm still... oh, it's because I haven't drank the antidote yet. Cool. All right. I think that is a good place to leave it. So, stream. So we'll do a quick recap as I'm getting ready to finish. I know there's the bit of awkwardness as far as being on full screen mode, but this was really pleasant. Obviously, I'm grateful to GOG for giving me a chance to stream this game. I'm sorry that it wasn't for everyone. I noticed, it was nice that I got the host from GOG, but it looks like we definitely came down to the lower levels. So, at the very least, I hope it didn't turn you off the game. But this is neat. Like, again, I'm not necessarily what you would expect as the intended audience for this game necessarily. I didn't play the first two Baldur's Gate games to completion. I have some familiarity with the series, but not enough to really, like latch on to it. Even then, I tried multiplayer with Divinity Original Sin with someone, and that didn't turn out either. So, to a certain extent, I don't necessarily have a predisposition to wanting to play a game like this. But on the other hand, I'm also not completely unfamiliar with tabletop. And so it's really interesting to just see how, compared to... yes. Oh yeah, I actually completely forgot too. So this is an early access build. The road ahead will be bumpy in places as we continue development and incorporate your feedback. Expect mystery, adventure, and a known quantity of bugs and bugbears along the way. Thank you for traveling with us. I don't know if anybody got to see this. I didn't really see this become active during the game, but there is Twitch integration. So I don't actually know whether or not that... I don't know whether or not that came up for anyone. But I think the thing that strikes me the most about this game is how there's the original premise of Baldur's Gate, which is we're going to take the D&D rules and put that in a video game. What interests me the most about Baldur's Gate 3 are the little touches that really reinforce that single idea. And what I mean by that is when you have sort of these passive roles, right? So, your DM says to you, roll perception. I rolled a 6. All right, you don't see anything. That creates a certain dynamic, right? It's almost like the Telltale X character will remember that. And it's hard not to act on that information, right? And obviously, like, a good DM is going to find a way of maintaining the tension while still having you do rolls. But the fact that the game... So this is something that you don't really need to do in a video game, right? In a video game, one of the advantages of this, and this was a huge advantage for wargaming, is all of the systems in the background can just be run, and you can inform the player when there's details that they need to know. But the fact that they inform you of the failure of passive roles, I think, is a nice touch, which really does lend itself towards capturing that tabletop feeling. Also, we were talking about the cinematics, so it's not like some of the other games that I've played, which do still also count as RPGs, but where it sort of feels like you're put on hold and are watching a movie. I think part of it is just because so much of it is sort of in-engine, and it tends to happen at a dramatically appropriate moment. So lots of little cinematics that set the scene. But again, to me, it tends to feel a little bit more like the paragraph, let's say, of the DM describing what's going on, rather than just, okay, all of the interesting decisions have just been pulled away from me because the game makers wanted to make the little movie. I know I've been ranting about this the last little while, but it's been on my mind. So that was another little touch that I liked. And then again, I don't know if I need to attribute this to the 5th edition or Baldur's Gate 3 or whatever, but I like the idea of the cantrips. So this really gets past something. So for a while, I used to really like RPGs where I would play some variation of a mage or a wizard. Like, I was all about magic users. And again, it makes sense, right? Because, you're a nerdy kid, you're reading books. You want to play someone who's, where reading books is as exciting in the real world as it is to you, like when you're sitting down and reading material. I don't know if this is true for everyone, but I kind of feel that if you like reading books, you go through a mage phase. Now I play a lot of fighters. I don't know what changed, but so the thing is that mages can be crashing disappointments in games because they only get a certain number of casts and the spells aren't that strong to start off with. And it's only after you've stuck with them for a while that they become really cool. So this cantrip system, I feel, and especially because, the particle effects and all that look really good. I feel like that gave me enough where the spellcasters aren't absurdly powerful at the start, but I'm able to do the most interesting thing, right? So I play a spellcaster because I want to cast spells. I don't play a spellcaster because I want to run after people with an ineffective dagger. And so it's been kind of neat to see how this cantrip system allows me to sort of strike the balance between those two priorities. So overall, I'm very impressed by this game. I know, I don't think there were any expectations that the game would be anything but a good game. But it was a little different from what I was expecting, and in all positive ways. So I'm really looking forward to doing some more of this. Now, I'm going to have to do a quick changing of the guard here, so I'm going to turn off my full screen mode. Again, if you're thinking of streaming this game, the default is Vulkan, and I do recommend. So if you have the option and if you don't know the difference, I suppose DirectX 12 in most cases will probably give you a slightly better performance. It's probably a game-by-game thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if because DirectX 12 is kind of incorporating a lot of the stuff that Vulkan does. But if you have the option in a game and you can enable Vulkan, generally it will improve things for your game experience. And it mostly just has to do with what the basically what it Vulcan will let you access, have a little more fine-grained access. So it's horrible to program, but if you have if somebody else is doing it, it generally gives you a higher frame rate and but not without sacrificing the visuals. So I like this feature of Baldur's Gate. I know Larian has been putting a lot into sprucing up its engine, because I know when they put Divinity Original Sin 2 on Mac, they spent a bunch of time sort of putting it onto Metal, which is Apple's graphics API. But I'm babbling on about this technical stuff, partly just because I'm trying to find somebody to host. I think I know who I want to host. But the reason I'm mentioning it is that it does create a bit of a problem with OBS. So if you're trying to set this game up with OBS and you're noticing that the game is not really like you're not able to capture it. My answer was to do it on full screen, but I'm told that OBS Studio 25 finally has Vulkan support. So a couple of other games where that might affect you. I think Ghost Recon Breakpoint just had one. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 might, but it's not a default option. I think it has DirectX 12. Doom, I believe, has a similar problem. But that's, again, if you're interested in streaming the game, I hope that is helpful for you. Now, again, there's not a whole lot of people here, but I noticed that Sniper Guy Gaming is playing Baldur's Gate 3 as well. Oh, that's a shout out, not a raid. So I feel like it's probably best to set him up with a host. Just because it's a smaller number of people doesn't mean that I wouldn't like you guys to come along. So I hope you do. He'll probably be a bit further on into the story. So if it's, if you don't want to see what's coming up, maybe quietly leave after that. But he's definitely a nice guy. Very, he's nicely supportive of me. So it's nice to pass it along. I will also let you know that Johnny's streaming Among Us right now, but I feel like I should probably stick on Baldur's Gate 3. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will be back tomorrow with Mass Effect 3 most likely. And we will see you then.